Hey guys, this is CK Education, and today I want to talk about the real reason why so many people can't reach their goals. Man, I've seen this my whole life. In my career, I see it when I'm teaching, and for the past 13 years, I've been teaching students and interacting with families and parents. And why is it that some people can reach their goals and some people just can't seem to do that? It almost seems like they're incapable of reaching goals. They get a good start on it, they never finish the race. They get going on it, they get all pumped up and they feel excited, and then along the way they fall by the wayside. And it's just, why are certain people like that? I'm not just talking about kids, students, I'm talking about adults, full-grown adults. I've seen so many people do this. They have certain goals. I meet them a few years later. Hey man, that thing, did you get that thing? Or did you buy that house? Or did you get that job? Did you start that business? Did you pay off your house? You said you were going to do this. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't work out. It didn't pan out. I just, so many times I hear this and I wonder, why is it? And in talking to these people in more depth, there's this common theme that I find. For people who just can't seem to reach their goals. So I want to talk about this. And this is something that I think people take into less consideration. When we're talking about reaching our goals, people think about, well, you have to have a clear goal. You have to have an action plan. You got to be persistent every day to do those things to reach your goals, and on and on. But there's this inside element that a lot of people don't talk about. There's this inner thing that distracts us, that detracts us from reaching our goals. And I want to talk about that today. And that one word is simply emotions. So many people get derailed from reaching their goals because they can't control their emotions. Okay, their emotions control them. And so what happens is every day they wake up, and rather than thinking about and being reminded, this is my long-term goal or my midterm goal or my short-term goal, whatever it is, and I have to do this thing every day, regardless of what my emotions are. I feel like I want to do it. I feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. I always tell people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you feel like doing or what you don't feel like doing. I say this to my kids all the time too, but Daddy, I don't feel like doing it. And I often half jokingly say, it doesn't matter if you feel like doing it. I didn't ask you if you felt like doing it. You just have to do it. And I remind them, do you want this thing? Do you want to reach this goal? Do you want to be able to do this someday? Someday, do you want to be here? And if the answer is yes, then I say, then you have to do it today. You see, because, or the alternative is, you don't want this to happen, right? You don't want this negative consequence. You don't want to be in this situation in the future. And if the answer is, no, I don't, then again, you just have to do it. It doesn't really matter if you want to do it. It doesn't matter if you feel like doing it. It doesn't matter if you're excited about doing it or not. Reaching goals has really nothing to do with how I feel about it. If the goal is worth pursuing and meeting and achieving and reaching, then you just go about every single day. I say to my friends often, when I was in the process of paying off my house, do you think that every single month, and I covered this in another video, but do you think that I felt like paying that much extra? Sometimes I would pay 3 or 4 times what I was required to pay in my mortgage, and I would do it. And do you think that I felt like doing that every month? Is that a fun thing to do? Is it exciting? No, it's just mundane. It's boring. It's just routine. And every month for years and years, every single month you just do it. I was talking to a friend. He's like, this is, a few years ago. And I told him years ago, I said, yeah, I'm pretty much, I'm almost done paying off my house. And because, we're sort of the same age and same life, stage. And so he says, what? You're almost done? Like, how did you do that? Like, did you just discipline yourself every month? And I said, is there any other way? Is there any other way to do it? This is the only way to do it. Yeah, I mean, every single month when other people are doing, spending that extra money on other things or buying another nice car or upgrading to a bigger house, I'm just every single month paying it off. Is it always fun? No. Do I always feel like it? No. Did I always want to do it? Well, I think I always wanted to do it because I had this goal in mind. I'm going to pay it off. I'm going to pay it off early. And I don't care what people say. I don't care what I feel. I'm just going to do it. And this is the same thing with fitness. It's the same thing with your business. It's the same thing with with your kids. It's the same thing with, what kind of dad are you going to be? What kind of mom are you going to be? What kind of worker are you going to be? What kind of business owner are you going to be? What kind of financial situation do you want to be in? What kind of emotional state? What kind of spiritual, how do you want to be spiritually? And where do you want to be with that? And so to the answer to all these questions, whatever the answer is, you want to get there. It is a state, it is a future state that is different than the state that you're in right now. So how do I get there? How do I experience that? See, part of reaching goals is, man, the joy of imagining what it would be like when I reach that future state that I'm walking towards. But part of the other thing, the other side of that is knowing the pain of never getting there. If I don't get there, what's the alternative? Well, I'm going to be stuck where I am. And what is a pain like when you think about being stuck where you are? So usually people make goals because they don't like the state they're in right now. They're not satisfied with that. They don't want the status quo. They want something better. They don't like being in debt. I want to be out of debt. They don't like feeling tired all the time and not in shape. And my body just feels heavy. I'm not in shape. I can't even walk very far. I'm not very flexible. I feel like I'm going to get injured. And so you want to get to a state where you're like, I don't feel like that. I'm in good shape. I'm flexible. I'm strong. I'm fast. And, but how do you get there then? Because it doesn't seem like I can get there tomorrow from here. So it takes a while. But along the way, something happens. We might get going. Everybody has heard about, like in January, like the fitness centers and the health clubs, the memberships go skyrocket. I mean, they just skyrocket up because everybody makes New Year's resolutions, right? I'm going to get fit this year. I'm going to get in shape this year. So they all go and enroll in the health club. By around March, spring, gets a little bit sunny outside. People get a little bit lazier. What happened? Emotions set in. I don't feel like going in today. I don't feel like working out today. I don't feel like going to the gym today. I don't feel like running today. I don't feel like whatever it is today. And so people stop and enrollments drop around spring, And so what happened? What happened was emotions. People are controlled by their emotions rather than being able to control it. And when I say control it, it's just sometimes ignoring it. It's just sometimes, well, I feel like this. I often say to myself, my own self, I feel a certain way, on a certain day, and I feel tempted to be detracted from the thing I have to do every day. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect person, of course not. There are some days where I don't do what I need to do, or what I should do, or what I want to do, and certainly there are. But those are exceptions. Those are unusual. Those are uncommon. The common thing is every day you just grind. Every day you just do the thing you have to do. And here's what I learned. When you do that, the emotions will subside. Emotions come and go. They're like the wind. They're not going to stay forever. No matter what emotion you're feeling, if you're dictated by that, you're going to get detracted from that. But if you ignore your emotions and you just keep going, after a while, you're like, oh, what happened to that emotion? It went away, disappeared. And it doesn't really affect you, but you're closer to your goal because you ignore that emotion and you are able to continue grinding through, plowing through. You just got to get through it. And so there's two things, I guess, that I remind myself. First of all, I imagine always when I get there, what it'll be like, the future state. And that gives me joy and motivation. The second thing is I also think about what if I don't? And what if I don't get there? What if I give up on my goal? And what if I just stay in the situation that I'm in? Or what if the thing that I am aiming to, what if I don't get there and it's a status quo, not just status quo, but it gets worse. Just as an example, if I don't stay fit, if I don't exercise, if I don't take care of my body, then what happens okay, maybe tomorrow I don't feel anything, but what happens in 10 years? What happens in 15 years? What happens in 20 years? And you see people who are 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years older than I am, and I see them going through certain health problems and going through certain things, and I remind myself, do I want to be like that when I get to that age? Could I do something today that would prevent me from falling into that state when I'm older? And if the answer is yes, there is, and yes, I can, then I want to do that. Because I don't like the alternative. I don't like the other option of if I did nothing, it may turn out like this. I don't want to turn out like that. I want to turn out like this. So there's a joy of knowing that I could turn out like this if I do the things I need to do. There's also the pain of knowing I could turn out like this if I don't do that. Understand this. Doing nothing is also a choice. Doing nothing isn't neutral. When you do not, it's just like an escalator. I often tell people, when you're young, it's like going up an escalator, but the escalator is going up. So even if you stand still, you're going up. You feel like you're going up. Your body heals better. You're fast. You don't have to. You just, you're just young. Okay. When you get older, what happens is it's like going on the escalator. It's going up the same escalator, but the escalator is going down. It's going against you. So just staying still isn't neutral. Just staying still brings you down. You gotta work harder just to stay in the same position. You got to work even harder to get ahead. And this is just the reality of getting older. It doesn't, inertia, momentum, it doesn't work with you. It works against you in every way, in every way. You got to work harder. I got to work harder at 49 than I did when I was 29, when I was 19. I love teaching teenagers. They're young, they're full of energy. Well, most of them are, and they're strong. They heal faster. They're fast. They're ambitious. They dream. The thing is, and I love being around that energy because, I honestly don't like hanging around people my age sometimes because they just get down. They bring me down. It's just like, oh yeah, I don't know, man. My body's just not what it used to be or whatever. And they just sort of given up. And I'd rather, be around the young energy. They don't think like that. They just keep doing it. Yeah, Mr. Kim, I got football. I just ran 5 miles today. I went to football practice and I did 3 hours and I'm like, man, it's 90 degrees outside. They're like, yeah, but it's all right, And I'm thinking, yeah, it is all right, and I can do some things. I can do more than I can do even. And I often get inspired by the young people I teach. But that young mentality, that mindset, certainly is different at 49. When I'm going up, the escalator is coming down. It's going against me. So I just got to work a little bit harder. And I've learned that in my life. It's just a reality. I don't like it. Nobody likes it, but it's just a reality. And the emotions that come and go, just ignore them. You got to find what you got to do, the things you want to do, the goals you want to reach, the place you want to get to, the future state that you want to experience. And you got to just ignore your emotions and you got to just keep plowing. Because my friend, when you do that, when you get there, man, it's going to be worth it. You'll be so happy that you did. Whatever emotions you feel today that try to detract you from your goal, from doing the things to reach your goal, just ignore them. They'll go away. And if you keep doing the things that you have to do, you'll reach your goals. And you'll be a much happier person if those goals were worth reaching. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.